It's time to roll to the rescue with the all-new Paw Patroller. Oh no, there's a penguin in trouble. Paw Patrol is ready to roll. Load up, team. This rugged rescue rig can hold up to 3 vehicles, and it comes with real sounds, rider, and RoboPup figures. Paw Patrol is ready to roll. Speed to the scene. Transform the Paw Patroller into a 2-level mobile rescue center. Take the elevator to the top and add even more vehicles. Hurry, team.
Paw Patrol is on a roll.
Let's get out there and save that penguin. You did it. The penguin is safe. Time to load up. Paw Patrol is ready to roll on to the next adventure with the all-new Paw Patroller.
Hi, my name is Tanya Carr, and today we are going to do a rhetorical analysis of a commercial put out by the Paw Patrol franchise for one of its newest toys, the Paw Patroller. Before we jump in, let's ask ourselves a few questions so we can have the proper framework going in. Who is our audience? Paw Patrol caters to preschoolers. No ethnicity is present in the actual heroes themselves, as they are all different canine pups and are defined more clearly by the roles they perform. You may then also be asking yourself, like I did, why this commercial exists at all, because really, how much buying power does a child so young actually have? The answer is quite telling. According to Media Smarts Canada, young children hold over 95% of the family influence. Things like breakfast choices, entertainment choices, and clothing choices tend to come down to them. Just think how much that must transfer to purchases specifically intended for them. So, to reach these tiny influencers, what kind of rhetoric should a company employ? What does the argument have to look like? Well, big business has spent a lot of money researching our tiny audience, even hiring child psychologists to help them effectively combine psychological truths with specific applicable rhetorical techniques. In this instance, we should expect narration as an element to this commercial. Psychologist Kristen Langelier says that narration is one of the first language skills all children develop, and that it also seems to be universal across cultures and time, which lines up well with the National Post report indicating that Paw Patrol is currently distributed in 160 countries. Even in adults, the act of narrating is a powerful psychological technique. It allows the audience to place themselves within the story being told, drawing them into the situation as it unfolds instead of having them stand on the outside looking in. According to research psychologist Rolf Zwan, this is called a situation model, and it allows the audience member to comprehend and relate to the situation in a personal way, almost as if they were experiencing it themselves. To create this model for a small child, Zwan says you need to keep it simple and tell the story in a series of events. In other words, you begin with a simple statement and then just keep adding simple statements, which means we should also be watching for how this commercial employs logos.
It's time to roll to the rescue with the all-new Paw Patroller.
We are 4 seconds in, and there is already a lot going on. The beginning of the narration has occurred, and, as expected, logos is employed to frame the commercial as a real-time event, using present tense sentences like, "It's time," and a short report-style sentence. As well, the word roll is used, indicating movement, a great way to prep the audience for the vehicle the commercial is advertising. The voice delivering the report is that of a fully grown man, presumably a father figure. Our logos now begins to take on some pathos, as the audience is emotionally accessed with the idea of their father. Now our little audience is picturing playtime or maybe even story time with daddy, someone not traditionally in the home as often.
Oh no, there's a penguin in trouble. Paw Patrol is ready to roll. Load up, team.
The narration has continued, and we are starting to see which discourse is being performed. That of the hero. They have a penguin to save. The idea of heroes is incredibly alluring to young children. Dr. Marilyn Price Mitchell, developmental psychologist and researcher, explains in her article, The Role of Heroes for Children, that children in this stage of development have a natural desire to emulate superheroes. It's their attempt to feel a little more in control of a world where they are often the smallest and the weakest. So, within the Paw Patrol show itself, the team has a fully developed hero narrative already in play. Their level of heroism is akin to the idyllic hero created by Rousseau in his discourse surrounding heroes and heroism. The pups combine their everyday citizenry with their call to duty in helping the other inhabitants of their town who are facing trouble they cannot rectify themselves. Being called to action and performing once, though, isn't good enough. Rousseau would say you need to continuously prove yourself the hero, which Spin Master has made the basic plotline of each and every show. These little pups have become the ultimate symbol of heroism for children, and owning these pint-sized superheroes gives these children a sense of power and is a hero to emulate and to feel protected by. This commercial is no differently structured and is in fact leaning on that pre-established and predictable storyline to focus the sale of the Paw Patroller.
This rugged rescue rig can hold up to 3 vehicles, and it comes with real sounds, rider, and RoboPup figures. Paw Patrol is ready to roll!
Let's take another pause here to really break down what we are seeing. The Paw Patroller, a large-scale, great big, amazing machine filling up the entirety of our screen, looming over us as if to take on the presence of one of its occupants, the pre-established heroes. Too much? Maybe, but when I played with toys as a child, I usually sat above them, pushing them around, crashing them into things. It wasn't too often I was able to figure out a way to play with them that it would replicate this particular angle, where the audience is given the perspective of looking up at this shiny, sleek-lined machine as it roars by, larger than life, or at least much larger than we are as the audience. The negative space that the bus is passing through is quite dull, giving it a lackluster texture, not just in its color choices, but in actual coloring when we compare it to the vibrancy of the bus, which seems to have this extra shine, indicating a smooth-to-the-touch, full-of-color machine. Bell and Fry would say that this picture is fully designed to elicit these perceptions from the viewers, in this case creating the perfect allure for this ultimate rescue machine.
Speed to the scene! Transform the Paw Patroller into a 2-level mobile rescue center! Take the elevator to the top and add even more vehicles!
What may not be so obvious at first glance is the normalized idea of a hero in our society also being demonstrated in this commercial. Showing children what an everyday hero looks and acts like has its foundations firmly planted in ethos, as it is clearly favoring the professional masks kids may wish to aspire to during this time in their life. These heroes take the roles of our everyday heroes: a helicopter pilot, a policeman, a fireman, a garbage man, a lifeguard, and a recycling man. But what role does the Paw Patroller play? Well, at this point in the commercial, it's already been given the persona of one of the rescue heroes, with the exceptional speed and the ability to get our heroes on the road even faster.
Hurry, team!
Paw Patrol is on a roll!
Let's get out there and save that penguin! You did it! The penguin is safe! Time to load up!
Okay, and here we find ourselves at the actual scene of the rescue. It's vital to note that Skye, the one female pup within the core group of heroes, is absent. Perhaps not important within the smaller context of this commercial, but as I mentioned earlier, this is a widely successful series in which Skye is never directly at the scene of the missions within the entirety of the series. Her involvement revolves around being high up in the sky at a safe distance from the scene of the action, and if she needed, she can lower a hook, while remaining protected within her helicopter. Gender roles are defined between the ages of 5 to 7, and looking at the performative aspect of this sort of portrayal, children are being shown that girls can be involved in heroic actions and in a super cool helicopter, but as a secondary support role, never to get her hands dirty. Like many female-targeted performativity advertisements, the Paw Patrol franchise captures even the tiniest girls by selling them the idea of heroes, but ensures they don't feel too hands-on and empowered. They even go so far as to describe Skye as very lovable and emotional, with her skill set listed as, she tries everything with a backflip, grace, and a smile. So she isn't even given an actual skill.
Safe! Time to load up! Paw Patrol is ready to roll on to the next adventure! With the all-new Paw Patroller!
So there you have it. We're at the end of our commercial as well as the end of our brief rhetorical analysis on how marketers are selling a new Paw Patroller so successfully to our children. There are many rhetorical aspects to this commercial that could have been explored. However, as a recap, we looked at the narration paradigm, hero performativity and how it relates to gender roles, as well as a brief look at some Fry and Bell. It's all put together with our foundational modes of persuasion: ethos, logos, and pathos. There are 2 thoughts I would like to leave you with. The Paw Patrol show was created by a toy marketing company and was always intended to expand into an entire franchise. And as mentioned earlier, children will naturally want to emulate heroes, but as Dr. Price Mitchell points out, too often children, teenagers, and adults view heroes as myths or legends rather than the representation of mere humans who succeeded in breaking barriers that previously limited them. The fact that Paw Patrol takes the time to portray our everyday heroes, like the police dog, with such positive attributes, is entirely a win. So, as with most things, the choice is yours. But I would recommend that this may be one of those times when you can feel good taking a little bit of the bad. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my final project for COM 430. For Dr. Jeff Orr.